Hello everybody, and welcome back to Surfat Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, December 11th, 2023. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty light video for you guys. I think we have 5 first appearances, 5 honorable mentions, so only 10 titles in all to go through, but there's definitely some books in there you guys should pick up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week ending December 13th, 2023. First up from DC Comics, Flash number 790. This features the first team appearance of the Fraction, an invading group of alien speedsters. Now, we always mention this with these DC Comics. It really depends on what DC does with these characters they're introducing in the comics. If they bring these characters across other storylines or into small screen or big screen projects, that gets a lot more eyes on these characters. That makes them a lot more important in the future. If these characters or this team here only stay in this Flash title series, this may not be all that important, but Flash is one of the stronger titles for DC Comics, so the fact that they're introducing this team into this Flash standalone title series does get a little bit more merit, but like I just mentioned, it really depends on what DC has planned for this team going forward as to how important it'll be in the future. So this one here may be worth picking up the spec on at the cover price. Grab it if you can. If you can't, then put it on your B-list. We do think you have some time on this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 2. This features the first full appearance of Rabble, a female villain who wields advanced tech. Now this one here is one we do think you should pick up and add to your collection. The Miles Morales Spider-Man title series, incredibly popular, heavily collected. This is one you want to own if there's first appearance of new characters. And this is the first appearance of this female villain. You know, you really don't know what Marvel or Disney have planned for any of these characters they're introducing in the comics. A lot of them do end up in streaming series, TV shows, or feature films. So to have these at the cover price, these are books you want to pick up. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up for Marvel Comics, Amazing Spider-Man number 17. This features the first team appearance of the Insidious Six, a demonic version of the Sinister Six. This also features the first cameo appearance of Wreck Rap, a Spider-Man variant. Now, we mention this all the time with these Spider-Man titles. You know, anytime they introduce a new character into these particular stories, these are books you want to own. Spider-Man, probably the most popular and most heavily collected franchise in the Marvel Universe. So anytime they introduce a new character into these stories, these are books you want to own at the cover price. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. Next up from Dark Horse Comics, Star Wars High Republic Adventures number 2. This features the first appearance of Dern, Sayakim, and Lavalax Verzin, members of the Dank Grax. This also features the first appearance of Marta Rowe, ancestor of Martian. Now, we always mention this with these Star Wars titles. It's always a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new characters in these books. This is not the Marvel published Star Wars titles. This is a Dark Horse. But nonetheless, you know, you really don't know where any of these characters are going to appear in the future. And this particular issue has quite a few first appearances. This is one, if you just want to pick it up for a spec bet, it's probably worth doing so. But in our opinion, any of the Star Wars books with first appearances are worth owning. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. And finally from Marvel Comics, Star Wars The Mandalorian number 7. This features the first appearance of Moff Gideon. Now, like we just mentioned a moment ago, anytime there's a first appearance of a new character in a Star Wars title, these are books you want to own at the cover price. And this here is the Marvel published Star Wars title, and this is the Mandalorian series. I don't think I need to tell you guys how popular the streaming series was, and this is the first appearance of Moff Gideon in this particular comic. So this is one you definitely want to pick this up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Black Cloak number 1. This is a mystery series that follows 2 black cloaks trying to solve the murder of a beloved prince of the last city in the known world before the city explodes into total war. Now this one here sounds like it can lend itself very well to a small screen or big screen project, and Image Comics has had a lot of their titles picked up and optioned in the past. Now, like we always mention with these small press and indie publishers, if these stories get optioned for a TV show, streaming service, or feature film, these are going to be big deals in the future, so it's worth owning these at the cover price. So in our opinion, this one here is a great spec bet. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put in your B-list, but keep an eye on this one. Next up from Image Comics, Nemesis Reloaded number 1. This is a continuation of Mark Millar's super violent superhero series. Now, the Mark Millar series, very popular, huge collector base, huge fan base, and this is a continuation of that series. So in our opinion, this one here is probably worth picking up. This is the premiere issue of this new Nemesis Reloaded series. So this one here is probably worth owning at the cover price. Grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but keep an eye on it. Next up from Image Comics, Spawn Unwanted Violence number 1. This is a 2-issue limited series that features Freak. He was first introduced in full in Spawn number 37. Now, Spawn has a huge fan base, huge collector base, and this is just a 2-issue limited series focusing on Freak. This one here may be worth picking up the spec on. This is definitely going to be a spec bet if you choose to pick it up, though. Grab it if you can. If you can't, though, put it on your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from DC Comics, Flash number 123 Facsimile. This is the iconic story Flash of Two Worlds. This is a facsimile edition and includes all the original advertisements. Now, we always mention this with these facsimile editions. These are definitely worth picking up and owning in your collection. These don't just replicate the story and the art, but all the original advertisements that came in the comic when it first hit the shelf. This is as close as you get to going back in time and getting this off the shelf when it was first released. You know, there's a huge collector base for these facsimiles. They always sell out. They always trade at a premium in the secondary market later on. So in our opinion, this was one you definitely want to pick up. Go ahead and grab this one. And finally, from Marvel Comics, Incredible Hulk #1 facsimile. Now, this is a facsimile reprint of the Incredible Hulk #1 from 1962. Now, like we just mentioned a moment ago, these facsimile editions, these are books you want to own in your collection. And the Incredible Hulk, this is one of the most iconic comics of all time, one of the most heavily collected. Expect to pay big bucks if you're trying to get an original copy of this. But here you have a facsimile reprint. The story, the art, and all the original advertisements, just like the original. The original is going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. This one here is only cost you about $4 or $5. This is definitely worth owning. Pick this one here up for your collection. So there you have the 10 titles that we have for you guys this week. Definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.